I want to hand this over to Boomer because there's a lot of spaces that we've talked about, new spaces for the Go Big project, and I know that Boomer has a couple specific areas or a couple specific ideas for at least some of the spaces, and then maybe some other things that we could do. So, Boomer, the floor is yours.
Oh, wonderful. Everyone's going to regret this. But no, I think any loyal listener of the Redcast knows we have our quixotic quests here, one of which is the need for the Ewald Jumbo Stiehm statue somewhere on campus. With all the construction, you think there'd be room for that for Nebraska's finest two-sport coach. And that kind of ties into just kind of one of our other ideas about it. It's just we don't always seem to recognize our really early history here at Nebraska the way a lot of other schools do. Granted, Michigan claims titles from the colonial era, I think. But, when you look at even Memorial Stadium, we don't even put the conference championships prior to 1928 on there. We won
on the west.
Yeah, on the stadium. We have the whole list
right?
of the conference championships. We only start in 1928. And I've emailed a few people at the university before. I'm sure they have me blocked by now, which I would. But I've never gotten an answer of why we don't do that and why we don't seem to recognize, all those sorts of the championships and earlier history like that before. So I don't know if that's something we've ever thought about.
He's actually serious too, Tyler. He's actually serious too. Like, this isn't a joke. This is
people think I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm really not.
Boomer is literally probably one of the smartest Nebraska football or sports historians that you will ever meet. Like, and if you're talking to him, like, it sounds like he's joking on our show, but he's 100% serious. I'll leave it at that.
Well, see, Boomer, back behind me, you may not be able to make out the pictures, but that's George Flippin in that picture. I am a self-proclaimed historian myself. I do enjoy history a lot. I do not know the answer to that question of why we don't recognize any of those conference championships before a certain period. So I will ask around and I'll see if I can get an answer for you. But yeah, I think one of the things that is most important to me personally, just in my own experience, is we have a very strong history at Nebraska from a very, very early point in our period in our existence. There are a lot of really awesome stories to be told, and I think as we enter into the 100th year of Memorial Stadium, a lot of that history will already be showcased. I think we're talking a lot about that right now, what that looks like. So honestly, Boomer, this is timely for you to even ask that question because we're discussing how we celebrate the 100th year of Memorial Stadium. So I'll mention it. I'll bring it up. One of my favorite stories as well about how Memorial Stadium was started, and Boomer, you probably know this as a historian yourself, is that the community of Lincoln and the University of Nebraska came together to raise the initial seed money to build the initial structure of Memorial Stadium. And for someone who's in fundraising, that is a really cool story to hear. Because Honky, you had mentioned, and I think you hit it on the head, the ownership of our athletics programs from our fans is unmatched. I think our people view themselves as owners, and that started early in our history. And I think that's really cool.
If I can, gosh, this is a whole different discussion. I don't even want to get down, but any way we could ever in the process of redoing Memorial Stadium and however we do it, if we could ever re-expose the four initial corners, the windows, all the history, the tradition that comes with that. We've had scoreboards and video boards over them now since, the 80s and 90s. But man, there's so much history and tradition that came with those corners. I'd love to see something that could expose those again back to their original form. But to summarize Boomer here, championship years on the west side, a Jumbo Stiehm statue somewhere, and then number 3, and I got to give you a lot of credit here, Tyler, because you even tweeted at us this. So you were doing your homework. But Boomer, what am I doing?
Well, that's the claw, obviously.
Well, and explain again to the Redcasters that maybe haven't heard this yet, but I'm sure they have.
Well, I'm sure they've heard ad nauseum if they've been loyal listeners for the last 5 years. But Nebraska also has the Nebraska University Athletics Hall of Fame on campus, and I've always thought that one of our deserving candidates is former Nebraska great wrestler James Rashke. He was a 3-time letter winner in wrestling here at Nebraska. He actually won the Big 8 heavyweight wrestling title one of his times here, and was going to be in the Olympics, but got injured just days before he was set to go to the Olympics. And he says that's one of his biggest regrets in life. And he walked on the football team and, played a wide variety of sports and was a big high school athlete here out of Omaha, and came to the university on a academic scholarship that he got because his dad was a baker and had some sort of connection with a baking scholarship there. He studied zoology of all things. And then he went into the Army and won championships in the armed forces there, and then got into the world of pro wrestling. And he was originally a really quiet, kind of normal guy and had a hard time doing interviews. And then he was up in Canada and hooked up with another well-known wrestler who also has a Omaha connection, Mad Dog Vachon, who actually lived in Omaha for most of his retirement. And he suggested, hey, why don't you look German? If you've ever seen James Raschke, he looks like he's, 60 now. He looked like he was 60 when he was in college. He's looked the same age basically forever. And he said, you can shave your head and you look like a German guy. And that's what he did. And he developed this persona of this kind of evil German, foreign menace wrestler, which was popular in the 60s. And, being so close to the World War and all that. And he went on to a very long, lengthy pro wrestling career, particularly in the Midwest. He was really big in the AWA territory, which people have heard me talk about before, based out of Minneapolis. And Nebraska was part of that territory. And he would come to Omaha a lot. My grandparents would tell me stories about, they'd come and watch him, in Omaha wrestle, and, they'd do the little claw thing and scare us as kids and things like that.
So the
Baron von Raschke. Yeah, James Raschke. And yeah, he was, he's still alive today and still in Minnesota. He speaks highly of his time at Nebraska. And I know some of our Minnesota Twitter followers have commented how he comes to their events there and will do things there. And there was a documentary on him that just got made and released this last year. And he's still showing up on wrestling events today. He was just on AEW a few months ago live and in the crowd. So I pitched it before. And once again, I'm pretty sure everyone at the athletic department has me blocked by now, but I've always thought he's a worthy candidate to be in the Hall of Fame. And it should be Induct the Baron. Yeah, it was our hashtag that we have. And not Banner.
Banner.
Yeah, good job.
I'm trying to do this quick.
We can induct the banner too. I'm not sure.
We can induct banners too. So
we'll get them in as well.
But that's not it.
Bruce, specifically Bruce. If we're doing banners, we want Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done typing. I'm done
typing.
typing.
Probably for the best. Yeah,
Okay.
There we go. That's
Induct the Baron. Hashtag.
But no, I do give you credit for doing your homework on that. So
yeah.
For those who don't know, Bruce Banner is the Hulk, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear for those listeners that don't know that, and we can't be friends if you don't. But
Well, Boomer, it's important for me to note that my DMs are open, so I have not blocked you. Anytime that you, Rob, well, I may have to, based on some of the conversations tonight, I may have to be blocking Rob.
That's fine. It's well deserved.
But no, I'm happy to any of these ideas. I'm happy to at least get some level of a conversation going. I think it's important.
Well, Tyler, you have received the full Redcast treatment, which is, hey, we're going to do a 20-minute show, and it turns into an hour and 10 minutes or whatever. So that's
and Rob's inviting you to weddings and things like that by the end of it. So yeah,
it's fine. But
what's this Airbnb invitation you just sent me?
I trust me. Well, Tyler, we really appreciate your time here. We're going to go through and do our parting shots. And then, as is customary on the Redcast, our guest gets to have the final one. So, Boomer, I'll start with you.
Okay, well, my parting shot, it's non-sports related, but anyone who follows us on Twitter knows our love of posting memes, particularly live-looking GIFs. And sad news today, Stephen Wilhite, the creator of the GIF format, passed away due to illness, I believe COVID. But and we can debate, so maybe we'll throw a poll up later. Is it GIF or GIF? He says it's GIF, but I say English gets away from the original creators of words, and it should be GIF. But we can argue that another time. But shout out to Stephen. He's given us hours and hours of entertainment thanks to fun internet memes. So
all right, Rob.
First of all, the G stands for graphic, people. That's a hard G, so it is GIF. All right, it's not peanut butter. Let's just be clear there. And as a parting shot, as always, I would just like to thank Tyler for coming on. I probably will be messaging G when I do come out, but I promise it won't be every single day for the next hour, every hour. I leave that to my relationship with Honky. But I actually would love it if we could just kind of get together and say hello at least while I'm out there, because I'll be out there for a few days and you know, I love touring Lincoln. It's such a welcoming, friendly town. Spring game is a great time to be there. So regardless if you have time for us or not, at least just a quick hello would be appreciated. That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
All right. And Tyler, floor is yours.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue into my parting shot. So we have 17,000 annual donors. It's important for us to get to know as many of them as we possibly can. Whether you're here in Lincoln or in Greeley, Colorado, we want to get to know you. We'd love to get to know you. It's really important to us to find people that care a lot about this place, and we know they're out there. So my DMs are open on social media. I love engaging with people on social media. Feel free to shoot me a DM, tweet at me. I will reply to your tweet. I like to engage with people. But really, if there's anything we can be doing to better connect our fans and our donors back to the department, we'd love to do it. So I appreciate this platform you guys gave me, and thanks for having me on tonight.
Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Redcast. And until we see you next, Redcasters, that's another Go Big Redcast.
Go Big Red.